Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in miniature. It is time once more for a Friday dose of Obscurities in literature. So today's book, I can't get a concise and agreed upon meaning to the kanji on this cover, but thankfully it does say Anomaly, Omnibus, illustration, and as you can see, this book is all about very, well, disturbing looking anomalies in rather mundane, dull, typical locations. And so I cannot recall where specifically I found out about this book. I feel like I can trace it back really to one of these Pi International anthology series of art that they've put out. This one in particular is the Dark Fantasy illustrations, Dark Fantasy Worlds. If you're curious and want to track this down. One of the nice things about these books is they are bilingual. They are in English and Japanese. So don't feel too bad. As you can see there, just flipping through it. If it's something that might be of interest to you, they do have English editions out there too. Anyways, the cover of this book is what really got my attention. You have these tiny little people and these gigantic creatures in typical, well, not typical, but very crowded looking apartment buildings. And this is because it's the work of Monok Kubo. Monok Kubo is an artist who typically does a lot of illustrations of giant animals in rather typical places, as you can see here. This piece being called The Fox's Wedding, I believe, was the title. You can also see some of the other books down there that they have. And we'll talk about that some other day. I do own every Monok Kubo book at this point that has been published, but every time I put some big, long video of all the books, they don't get as many views. So maybe I'll save those and do them individually, because some of their work splits up into different types of styles. Sadly, Monok Kubo's work is not in this book, but this book does have artwork by artists that, as far as I have seen so far, don't have anything else published to their name, at least professionally. They might have done some, self-published doujin work, but I haven't even come across some of it myself. I just now noticed that this thing also has its backpack on and is tied up, so I don't know what that's all about. One of the things about a lot of these artists that work in this style, and I don't even know what to really call it, reminds me of people like Simon Stalig, the guy who did like the Scythe illustrations, Jakob, it's a very Eastern European name, and I don't want to ruin it. So I know he did Howling at the Moon, which I have a video on if you want to hunt that down. That's another interesting one. Also kind of works in a similar style of rather mundane places and has very interesting anomalies existing within them. Anyways, a lot of these artists have really bizarre pen names. So you can see here we have Gigi Gigi Gaga Gaga. Yeah. Or we have like bizarre mixtures of English and Japanese letters. I don't know why. But what I can tell you is that their work is quite evocative in that, again, we've got like a shot of a windshield wiper and things going on vaguely in the background. The mundane meets something else. Not sure I necessarily want to go check things like that out. We're going to skip ahead to an artist I particularly enjoy, and probably I'd say the strongest reason that I got this book is the work of Kigi Nobiru. What that means, I don't know. But they have this knack for very elaborate, detailed, almost biomechanical creations kind of coexisting in everyday life in Japan. The sea is not happy. As I said, just normal, everyday meals with the family. Right? Complaining about what's happening now. Just funny because then on the other page you have that exact same scene playing out here. Always I like just the scale of these illustrations, and this is pretty common that you have like these giant works of fantasy, inter-existing with typical everyday stuff. See? Totally typical everyday stuff. Club meetings at school. I'm assuming they're building it. Again, typical club meetings at school. I like that they're all playing the recorders for it. Typical everyday meetings. Now, some of these almost give me like Arknight vibes. But then again, that game has so much eldritch horror existing at the edges of it. And it's kind of cool just seeing all the various styles going on here. Some of the artists start to dwell more in the cartoony side of things, but that doesn't make it any less macabre. The head doesn't seem to even fit in the doorway. Our illustrator from the cover. Not sure what's going down with Grandpa there. Again, almost like photorealistic. But then the stuff, it's like very out there. Now this is interesting in that it's all kind of like, what was that style of the game? Like Out of This World, where it's all kind of cel shaded based on actual, photography and stuff. Again, nothing says fun like just characters in abandoned amusement parks wearing disturbing mascot suits. This artist's work reminds me there's another artist that does kind of line work like this, got famous for using a lot of sticky notes and ink work, but same kind of thing. Again, mundane meets the fantastic. Fun stuff to be had. And obviously, we're not going to spoil everything for you, but there's some Toei stuff in here. Toei did a fair amount of work with kind of almost SCP looking, various interactions in everything that they've done. But yeah, definitely artwork to get you thinking. Great for coming up with stories. I have tried doing that with some of my students. Maybe some of the less disturbing ones, obviously. But it's still kind of interesting to see and hear and take other people's ideas and experiences. So some fun stuff there to be had for sure. But obviously, some of it can be quite disturbing. So maybe we should have advice for advisory for the younger folks there. But yeah, I'm happy I finally got a hold of this. I had wanted this and I could not get it for a decent price, but I finally did. So yay. And then, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberling with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.